Hi, everybody. Welcome to a special edition of Prep Sports Extra alongside Julia Daniels. I'm Will Hall. We start out with our Spotlight game, a rematch of last year's 6A title game between Maple Grove and Minnetonka, Julia.
Ooh, Will, two powerhouses going at it on a Wednesday night.
How about that?
Yeah, Tonka lost last week, but the Crimson still spotless headed into this one.
To the highlights we go. Minnetonka up 14-10 at halftime. Pick things up in the third. Rally time for the Crimson. South Dakota State commit Caden Harney using his legs right there. 14-yard touchdown run. Makes it 17-14 Maple Grove. Later in the third, Skippers go for it on 4th and 6. But Caleb Francois stuffed by Air Force commit Ryder Scanson. Turnover on downs. That stop leads to this big play. It's workhorse tailback James Engel with the 27-yard rushing score. That makes it 24-14. Engel would add another here in the fourth as Maple Grove moves to 8-0, 30-14 the final.
Wow, Maple Grove, a force to be reckoned with. All right, Moorhead at Edina. Moorhead looking to move to 500 tonight, but Edina strikes first in this one, cashing in on an interception. Chase Bjorgard got some steps in tonight. He's got that short touchdown right there, but Moorhead strikes back on the next drive. Tay Wright.
Speed.
To the house. Moorhead actually wins this one. Both defenses lose in my opinion, though. The final of this one, 51-44.
Shootout.
Yeah, let's head to producer Ryan Williamson's old stomping grounds, Eden Prairie hosting Wayzata. Look at the effort here from Gavin Walden.
Wow.
He stretches and gets 6 for that first score of the game tonight. Trojans' next possession is picked off by Walden. What a night for this guy.
Wow.
Look at this. It's a pick 6 too, guys. I know you can't see the end zone there, but this one is the final 35-14.
Montana State, you got a good one in Gavin Walden. Champlin Park hosting Osseo in the fourth. Orioles tie things at 21 apiece. This is Philip Sia working hard. He gets into the end zone. The Rebels with a last laugh in this one. QB Miles Felton calls his own number. Tough run for the score. Champlin Park moves to 7-1, 28-21 the final.
All right, Lakeville South at Rosemount tonight. Jake Michel.
Looks like it.
Michel for the Irish. What a run through all that traffic for the score. I've said it once and I'll say it again. The Irish are on their revenge tour this season. They go on to beat the Cougars in this one 20-15 is their final.
Irish moved to 7-1. That was a close one. Prior Lake hosting Farmington tonight. Tigers on the attack here. Christopher Rayhawk out of the Wildcat. Looks around.
Wow.
How about that? Calls his own number. He takes off, gets in for the score. Lakers get the win, though. 29-15, the final.
All right, Forest Lake at Stillwater. Kevin
Durangu.
That's right, takes it in for that short score there just after a big fourth down conversion for the Rangers. Second quarter is where we move next. Mac Jerkovich also gets in on that scoring action, and the Rangers lead the Ponies 14-0. They go on to take this one 27-7 is that final.
Like a Mack truck. Undefeated St. Thomas Academy hosting undefeated Matamidi in the second. Dominic Baez takes it in from 7 yards out. Also had a throwing touchdown in this one. Later in the second, Tristan Carl finds Grant English in the end zone for the touchdown. Cadets move to 8-0. They roll tonight, 35-7 the final.
All right, Cretin-Durham Hall at Elk River. Dare I say, a massacre in this one. Sorry, Raiders. Levi Harris gets this run right here, and what do we say, Will? Get that man his oxygen tank. That makes it 20-0 Elks, but man, the final of this one is 61-27.
Wow. Elks keeping it rolling. Park Center hosting Buffalo. The Bison, special teams, making a big play here. This is Hendrick Gatz on the punt return. Stays on his feet, gets to the sidelines, and from there, he's off to the races, following his blockers. What a punt return for the Tutty. We move ahead in this one. Grant Benson airing it out here. Look at this grab.
What?
I think it was tipped. That's Jackson Koss coming up with it. Buffalo wins one on the road, 45-8 the final.
All right, we got Alexandria at Armstrong just down the road from us. When I arrived, Armstrong was down 22-0, but they find some offensive grounding just before the half. Gabe Hall launches it to Eli Quimple.
Nice connection.
That gets the Falcons on the board right there just before the half, but just after that, Alexandria responds with this score. Talon Witt, third quarter, hands it off to Brody Berg to increase the lead. Alexandria wins this one 42-12.
Alexandria moving to 7-1 this season. Holy Angels hosting Richfield in the second. Stars defense making a play here. That's Jacob Zopa coming up with the fumble recovery. they would capitalize on the turnover shortly after it. This is Emmett Anderson up the
He's
gut, off to the races. 45-yard rushing score as Holy Angels moves to 7-1, 49 zip the final. I love that shout out from Emmett. He says, "Love you, Mom."
Aww.
Love my mom too. St. Paul Johnson hosting Minneapolis North in the Minneapolis-St. Paul City title game in the second. Logan Lockermeyer, the 45-yard touchdown pass to Jamarion Sanders. That puts the Pullers up 19 zip. If it's not broken, Juju, what do they say?
Don't fix it.
Don't fix it. They didn't. That duo teams up for another touchdown as the Pullers move to 8-0, 46-0 the final score.
What a year for North.
Coach Adams knows how to do a thing or two about winning ball games.
He does.
Yes, he does. Be sure to join us Friday for another edition of Prep Sports Extra. We will have playoff brackets for you. Cannot wait for
Already?
that. How about that? Playoffs. We're talking playoffs. Have a great night, folks.